again, so.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. 5 seconds.
I'm going to mute myself.
Okay. Good evening. We call to order the regular meeting of the West Valley City Council. We note that we have a quorum. We have, well, 5. Karen Lang has signed in, but she disappeared. Not like me when I was frozen. I think she's just stepped away. This is our electronic meeting. We do have a quorum. I believe that there's Councilwoman Lang. I believe Councilman Hyun will join us shortly. We need to check with Councilmember Fitisimano if he wants to do a regular opening ceremony or move forward with the agenda.
We're going to go ahead and forego our opening ceremony. I'll just go ahead and say welcome, everyone. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Then we have our minutes of June 9th. A motion on the minutes.
Well, I move for approval of those minutes.
Second.
Second.
Okay, we have that. Any comments about the minutes? If not, then without objection, the minutes will stand approved. I hear no objections. Therefore, the minutes are approved unanimously. Next, we go to our comment period. And Nicole, do we have some people
Yes,
online?
Sir, yes, sir. We have 2 people that signed up. Jim Visock was the first, so I will unmute him. Jim, you are good to go, or you should be.
All right, can you hear me? Yes.
Yes, we can.
All right, thank you. Mayor, good comment at the end of the study meeting about the police department. Last couple of weeks, I've been praising the police department, and I'm going to continue to praise them. Chief Jacobs has actually got out in front of some of this, and she's doing these Facebook, West Valley TV things about the department, talking about Kalia, something that I'm so glad that you guys allowed them to do, because I know it costs money. I know it wasn't popular with the city manager at the time, but I'm glad West Valley is one of the top departments because of this. In the United States, not very many people have it. Until a few months ago, West Valley was the only city in Utah that had it. Chief Jacobs has done a great job with the police department, and her deputy chiefs have all done a good job. And with Kalia, if you've taken the time to read that, it's not an easy read. There's a lot of stuff. Our police department is held to a standard that is so high, and it's great that we have a police department that way. We have a lot of great police department, or a lot of police officers that are great. And I'd be willing to say 99.9%. There might be one on there, but I have not met them yet, and I've met a lot of them. Our police department is regularly culled from other police departments. They come and take our guys because they're so well trained. The word out there is you do 5 years in West Valley, it's like doing 10 to 15 years somewhere else. So these guys are so well trained. And once again, I want to thank Chief Jacobs, Deputy Chief Hamilton, Stokes, and Buchanan for the great job that they're doing. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Nicole, next.
We have Haroon Acha, and Haroon, you are unmuted.
Great, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Fantastic, thank you. I'd like to talk about the parcel of land on 2940 West 3650 South, which is right next to the West Valley Library, just 2 blocks from City Hall. From what I can tell, the city gave authorization to acquire this parcel from the Audi Leventhal Trust during the September 10th, 2019 City Council meeting. I'm not sure if the city owns this parcel yet or will soon, but at any rate, what I'd like to talk about is kind of a public health matter, for lack of a better word. The fence on the south side of that lot facing Lancer Way has a ton of enormous holes in it. Some of them have just been pried open by random people, you know, in the joints between the fence areas. But there's one notable hole that looks like a car just ran into it. The fence is just completely demolished in this area. Generally, that wouldn't be a problem, except for the fact that there's barbed wire on this fence and lots of jagged, rusty ends of pipes that stick out onto the sidewalk. This is kind of a public hazard from my perspective, and it extends about a block. And about a block of the sidewalk is occluded in some way by these nice, jagged, rusty pieces of fence. Whatever purpose the fence once served, it certainly doesn't serve it any longer. So ideally, I'd like to see the fence just gone. But really, I just want to see not a rusty fence with barbed wire sticking out on the sidewalk. So if this could be addressed, that'd be fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. Nicole, any further people online?
No, sir.
Okay. Seeing none online, we will close that public comment period. And let's see, Mr. Pyle, do you have any comments tonight?
I do, sir. I have 3 comments, which I'll try to make pretty quick. First one's in relation to the gentleman who just spoke, and I'll make it very quick. The property is not ours yet. We have a history of code enforcement issues with the current owner, but as soon as we do acquire it, we will certainly fix or remove that fence. So there's further detail that's available on that if he'd like to speak with staff at some other time, but just in the interest of, since he's here and might be a little different or more difficult to get a hold of him. The second item I had was just before the council meeting tonight, we got a public statement from Fitch Ratings Company, which I thought would be of interest to the council. It's a bit of good news. Fitch and some of the other rating agencies around the country are going and reviewing all of the cities, public entities for financial stability. Of course, it's associated with this COVID-19 pandemic. And we were no exception. As you know, we have 3 different ratings, AAA, or I'm sorry, AA. I want AAA. That's my goal someday. And a AA minus on our building authority lease revenue bonds, all of which are very good ratings. We were worried that we might get lumped in with other cities and agencies around the country with some of the concerns and angst around their financial pictures. Fitch interviewed us, interviewed Jim, went out, put together an opinion. It's been a couple, 3 days ago, sent the draft version to us, and then just sent us the final version today. Thought I would just read 1 or 2 comments from it. So the headline reads, Fitch affirms West Valley City's AA rating with the outlook as stable, which is good. So they affirmed all 3 of our ratings and did not downgrade any of those. In their analytical conclusion, which is on the first page, their first sentence says, the city's AA IDR reflects the highest level of financial resilience, strong revenue control, solid expenditure flexibility, and low long-term liabilities. So that was nice. That kind of is a summary of a bunch of the other comments that are made on this. I don't believe we've sent you the email since, like I said, I just got this before the council meeting, but we'll send all of you as a council group that. Also, just wanted to mention on a personal note, I was approached today out in the parking lot here at City Hall by a complete stranger who kind of yelled at me from their car and basically said, hey, I just want to thank you for everything that's going on. And I kind of peered and looked into the car, didn't know who it was, at least from the sight line I had, didn't recognize them. So I walked around and just had a short conversation with them. And I didn't know them. It was just a couple here from the city who's long-term residents. And they were very complimentary of everything that we've accomplished for years, is kind of the words that they were using, and Fairborn Station particularly, which was a nice unsolicited comment to have, given a lot of the not very good news we have currently going on all over the country with the various crises we have. So I thought you'd be interested to hear that. And that's it, Mayor. Thanks.
Thank you, council members. Hearing no volunteers, then we'll move on to the next item on our agenda, which will be public hearings. And this will be regarding application ZT-3 which if we take action on it, it will be covered under ordinance 20-26. This is requested by the city. It's a change to our residential building design standards in the city center zone. Back on March 10th, we adopted several revisions to our multi-unit residential design standards. Those went into effect. They're similar to, but not exactly the same as was in our city center zone. And so this proposal is to change that to bring them closer into conformity so that they are close to the same. There are a few things that are still different in our city center zone that don't apply elsewhere, but this is simply to bring them closer to being consistent with each other, as it says here, to align the standards. And so that's the issue before us. Council can add any further comments they want. Any takers? Hearing none, then this is a public hearing. And so we will open the public hearing portion. Nicole, is there anyone online wanting to speak on this issue?
No, sir.
No public comment, then we will close the public comment portion. Come back to the council for consideration of ordinance 20-26.
Move for approval of ordinance 20-26.
Second.
Properly before us, the motion is we approve that ordinance. And so we will turn to our city recorder for the roll call vote.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu,
Aye.
Councilwoman Lang,
No.
Councilman Bueller,
Aye.
Councilman Hune,
Aye.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
Mayor Bigelow.
Aye.
Motion passes by majority.
Okay, thank you. Next on our agenda, we have resolution 20-78. This is to award a contract to Staker Parsons for the 2020 asphalt overlay project. We do an overlay project typically every year. And this particular one, we've identified a number of streets where this is needed. Staker Parsons had a bid of just over 1.2 million, excuse me, just under 1.2 million, 1,192,443 for asphalt pavement improvement, miscellaneous pipe and pedestrian access ramp improvements. And these are for things like Beaver Circle, Market Street, Campfire Circle, 3835 South, Marcus Road, Red Wing Street, Whitehall Drive, and a few others. Anyway, this particular contract, we're approving $1,300,000 on it, as we always place a small contingency in there for any unexpected items that might happen or needs that we need to take care of. That is the issue before us. No public hearing on this, so to the council.
I move for approval of resolution 20-78.
Second?
Second.
Anyone? Okay, thank you. It's properly forced. No further comments then to our city recorder.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Hune,
Aye.
Councilman Bueller,
Aye.
Councilwoman Lang,
Yes.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu,
Aye.
and Mayor Bigelow.
Aye,
Motion passes unanimously.
thank you. And then on our consent agenda, resolution 20-79. This is another one of those, and this is in conjunction with the asphalt overlay project where we need to update some ADA sidewalk improvements. So we'll have a right-of-way purchase agreement, a warranty deed, and temporary construction easement. And these are just those straightforward, simple things that we get quite often. With that, to the council.
Move for approval of
Move.
resolution 20-79.
Second.
Okay. To our city recorder then for the vote.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu,
Aye.
Councilwoman Lang,
Yes.
Councilman Bueller,
Aye.
Councilman Hune,
Aye.
Councilman Christensen,
Yes.
Councilman Nordfelt,
Yes.
and Mayor Bigelow.
Aye,
Motion passes unanimously.
thank you. We do not have a need for a closed session. That completes our business for tonight. Any final comments from the council?
We do have
Here's
two other
the-
meetings tonight, Mayor.
Yes.
Maybe that's it.
Well, no, not in our city council, regular city council meeting. So, but stands, if no comments, then
Motion to adjourn.
without objection, then the regular city council meeting is adjourned, and then the other meetings will occur. Thank you all. Hearing no objections, that's unanimous.
Call to
Call to
order.
Special electronic meeting of the West Valley City Housing Authority.
The
Oh, wait,
redevelopment
Dawn's
agency.
first, right, sorry.
Yeah. Call to order the special RDA meeting. We've had an opening ceremony and roll call. The approval of the minutes.
I move
The
to
authority.
approve the minutes.
Second.
Is there any dissent to the minutes? Hearing no dissent, I will indicate that they are passed unanimously. We have resolution 20-09. Mr. Pyle, would you like to explain that to us?
Yes, thank you, sir. So we have a couple of properties, residential properties that the Housing Authority purchased a little while ago, a number of months ago. And due to the changing economic situation, we would like to make a promissory note between the Housing Authority and the Redevelopment Agency. And the purpose for that is to make potential future projects more amenable, more flexible, and put those in the RDA or allow those to proceed through the RDA as opposed to the Housing Authority. The Housing Authority has more restriction on it from a federal regulation standpoint, use and purposes and that sort of thing. Whereas the RDA simply is more flexible from an economic development standpoint. You probably all will remember the history behind the purchase of these properties just a couple of 3 months ago. We had an economic zone project that we wanted to pursue, which, as I mentioned, is kind of put on ice, so to speak, by the pandemic and economic situation that we went into. We have all confidence that we will be able to make that a project or a similar one to it happen again, but it would be more, or it would facilitate that project more to have that ability to do it through the RDA instead of the Housing Authority. Hence, you have this item before you. It does not involve any new money or new expenditure. It's simply a exchange of the financial transaction and potential deal between the two. You also will have another item. That's what the Housing Authority item is before you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. To the agency. Any comment or motion?
I would move for approval of 20-09.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Ms. Kamiak, would you conduct a roll call?
Mr. Fittipaldi,
Aye.
Ms. Lang,
Yes.
Mr. Bueller,
Aye.
Mr. Hune,
Aye.
Mr. Bigelow,
Aye.
Mr. Nordfelt,
Yes.
and Chairman Christensen.
Yes,
Motion passes unanimously.
thank you. We have no other business before the agency, except a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
It's been moved that we adjourn, hearing no dissent. We will stand adjourned and turn it over to Chairman Bueller.
Thank you, Chairman Christensen. Now call to order the special electronic meeting of the West Valley City Housing Authority. Note that all members of the authority are present. We have two items of business. The first is approval of the minutes from June 2nd, 2020. You've had a chance to review the minutes, and without objection, we will consider them approved. Hearing no objection, we'll consider the minutes approved unanimously. The next item is Resolution 20-05, which is the other half of the transaction which just took place in the redevelopment agency meeting regarding the financial arrangement between the Housing Authority and the redevelopment agency for proceeding with plans on those certain properties. Anything additional to add, Mr. Pyle?
No, sir. That's good. We're good. Thank you.
Then to the authority for any comment or a motion.
Move to
move for
approve
approval of-
resolution 20-05.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion to the motion? Then Ms. Kamiak, would you conduct the vote, please?
Mr. Fittipaldi,
Aye.
Ms. Lang,
Yes.
Mr. Hune,
Aye.
Mr. Bigelow,
Aye.
Mr. Christensen,
Yes,
Mr. Nordfelt,
Yes.
and Chairman Bueller.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
We have no other business scheduled for tonight, so a motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
We have a motion to adjourn. Any objection to that action? Hearing none, we will stand adjourned.
thank you, Nicole.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Good night.